What you doing, Otaku? I'm the AC, and I just went and saw My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. And oh man, was it exciting. The show already gets me so worked up and I enjoy it so much. This movie was a whole nother level than what we've seen in the anime so far. But let's talk about first it being in theaters for more than only a couple days. Yeah, it has like an actual theater run. It came out Wednesday. I went and saw it on Saturday, and it's been playing consistently in theaters. A few shows every day, unlike the past few anime movies we've been getting that have only been out for like one showing for 2 days. So this is great. This is a great sign for anime. Hopefully more anime movies will be coming out and staying in theaters longer, and more people will see them, and the industry as a whole will grow, and people will have an appreciation for it. That's all I want. You know, support what you love, and I hope other people can get into it also. But my experience, just a little fun story, is I'm dumb and forget how close the front 2 rows are. So even though this was the 4th day the movie's been out, the theater was still packed, and the only seats I could get comfortably, because I also went with a friend this time, was up in the front 2 rows, and eventually it actually paid off. Getting to the climax of the movie, which I will talk about much more later, and only seeing screen and nothing else really engulfs you in the action. But yeah, it was cool to still see the theater packed after the movie's already been out for this long. And man, it just makes me happy. But let's talk about what actually happens in the movie. So, the movie opens up with this big chase scene with the League of Villains, and then Endeavor show up, blah blah blah. It's a cool opening action scene to open the movie with. I almost forgot about it until I started recording this video. But it does play into what I want to talk about first, which is where does this go if you was to try to put it in the timeline according to the anime. Now, of course, the manga is much further. Haven't been reading the manga. Been watching anime though. And with my best guess, in this chase scene, they mention Endeavor being the recently moved up to number 1. So that's still pretty close to the anime. And then it mentions everyone having their hero licensing and passing that exam. So that means Bakugo and Todoroki now have their license too. So what I'm thinking is, in the anime they're doing their festival right now. This must take place right after the festival. It's still pretty recent because Endeavor just moved up. And so, but I can't really see it happening right before the festival because I'm pretty sure they're still dealing with all of that. And I don't know, they're doing the internships. Yeah, I'm going to say sometime maybe right after the festival. Of course, I don't know what happens in the story right after the festival. And usually when they do movies like this, they're not, exactly perfectly placed in the canon timeline. Anyways, there's their own separate thing. But they do such a good job of making this seem like it could fit that, I always like to speculate. But yeah, so the main story of the movie is Class 1A goes to this island, Nabu Island, for some kind of program, some hero program. Nabu Island has no villains, they have no heroes, and they only have like little petty crimes. But the heroes go there and they're not really doing much. Most of the jobs they take aren't even hero jobs. They would be what anyone else could do. And they're doing petty stuff like fixing a tractor. It's like, that's not really a hero's job. There's other stuff like helping an old lady to a hospital, okay. Making sure people on the beach are safe, yeah. But even Bakugo, he just doesn't give any care about this. All he wants to do is fight a villain. I don't blame him, because most of the jobs they're taking, it's like, yeah, it's nice they're doing it. But is this really a hero's job? But, the island, the community, they love it. Except for one little girl named Mahoro Shimano, and she has a little brother named Kasuma. She doesn't like heroes, or she doesn't really think they can really do anything for them. And her little brother Kasuma, he wants to be a hero, but she thinks it'll be too dangerous for him. But she keeps messing with him. She first makes it seem like Kasuma is lost. So Midoriya and others go looking for this lost kid. Turns out he wasn't lost, it was all tests. Then again, Kasuma comes and says there's a big villain. So Bakugo and Midoriya go to try to fight this big monster. It turns out Maharu's quirk is she can make illusions. Another test. You know, what is it? Crying wolf? Yeah, something like that. So, that's pretty much what's happening on their island life. Everything's pretty chill besides one little girl wanting to cause a little mischief, a little testing of heroes. But what's happening that, because there has to be a real villain, right? And there is. There's 4 of them. So, there's a new all-for-one. His name is 9 because he can steal 8 more quirks and he can use 9. I don't really pay attention to how many he actually used, but he says at one point that he gets full or he can't take any more. Then there's another one, a chick who can make her hair like razors called Slice. Another dude who has nothing but bandages and he can control things he wraps in his bandages called Mummy. And another one who is like a big chimera and he can turn into this huge monster and his name is Chimera. Yeah, well, so what he's doing, 9 is stealing all these quirks, but he's unstable. So he's looking for this one special quirk that, you know, they keep a surprise for a long while, that can keep him from falling apart, keep him more stable, because once he uses his quirks too much, he gets exhausted. He starts doing well. Whatever. So, the first thing it shows him doing is he's looking for this quirk, of course, to heal himself, and he finds this man who happens to be Maharu and Kasuma's dad. And he steals his quirk, but it turns out the quirk isn't exactly compatible with him. The quirk being cell activation. The one he steals is only good for blood type A. Apparently he's blood type B. Who knew quirks could be that picky? Even though it does make sense because it's Stain, but that's anime show stuff way in the past. Anyway, so he realizes, hey, this guy has a son. Hey, quirks are hereditary. Maybe the son has a better quirk because he does. Kasuma's quirk is also cell activation, except for apparently it can be used with any blood type. So he's going to go to Nobu Island to find this kid to steal his quirk. Because Nine's whole philosophy is he wants to make a new world with a strong ruler of the league. You know, what a real villain is. And he seems, you know, not too bad. Because he's like, he steals a quirk but he doesn't kill the person. So that's nice of him. But then he's still pretty bad. So, let's get to when he actually attacks. I'm going to say all the fighting, all the action scenes are really smart, and I really enjoy that. Much more than anything else. Yeah, action is cool, but if it's not well thought out, if it's just boom, 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 fight, 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 hit, hit, punch, punch, whatever. But when there's actual strategy and like a plan for this, it's cool. So they show up to Nobu Island, and the first thing they do is get rid of any way out of the island, blow up all the boats. Then they also get rid of communication, and then Nine goes searching for Kasuma. And, you know, it's really smart, especially for the villain plan. But, going back to Crying Wolf, Maharu, she's one of the first ones he sees. She calls in, Bakugo just happens to answer. He recognizes the girl, and he's like, he calls bullshit on her. Because, you know, this is the 3rd time, and yeah, he doesn't believe it. Of course, it's real this time, but Midoriya, of course, believes it right away. He rushes off, realizes everything's going to crap, and everything goes to crap real quick. So, the 4 villains split up, they go attacking. Some of them happen to just run into other, where the rest of Class 1A are. And the fighting, at this point, is already cool. And you get to see how strong these villains are. And one, Mummy, he's not that strong. Bakugo, he shows up. He has a little back and forth struggle with him, but then he just completely obliterates him. Chimera, on the other hand, really is just a monster, even with multiple, and some of the really strong ones like Todoroki and Ida. They all have a whole lot of trouble with him, and they can't do anything about him. And then Slice is just wandering around. She's not really doing too much. But 9, the main villain, he ends up going up mainly against Midoriya, and he holds his own. And then Bakugo shows up to save and help at the last minute. But then eventually they both just get squashed. And this happens in a lot of movies like this, where the hero, the main protagonist, they get beat at first, and then for some reason, there's some lame reason, the villain goes off, and then that gives it. This one's actually smart, because they already showed that 9 gets exhausted if he uses his powers too much. It also shows that the other heroes come to help and create distractions to pull him away and escape. And then, because Kasuma can do cell activation, he's able to heal Midoriya and Bakugo and help them. That way they can actually, realistically, as much of a superhero they can get. So they can come back and go into their second fight. But it was great because then this gives the heroes a chance to make a plan, and it's a really cool plan. They realize 9's weakness. They already captured Mummy, so that's one of them down. So their plan is to move to this more secluded area where there's only one route in, and then split them up, and it is awesome. This whole fight sequence from here to the end is awesome. And the best part is, of course Midoriya is the main protagonist, and Bakugo is just awesome, and everyone loves him. But they don't even do much of the fighting at first. And it is so cool to see most of Class 1A, except for a couple of them who stay with the other villagers for protection. They all fight. They all fight so awesome. And they go push their limits, and they keep going. And even when they're down, they're still trying their best. And they go plus ultra. So when even a character like Aoyama can push himself and yell plus ultra and keep going, it is so cool. Oh, but they split them up. Slice gets beat pretty easily. Chimera gives a struggle. He ends up becoming a lot bigger. There was even a point I thought they were going to beat 9, and it turns out Chimera was going to be the real big bad, because that could have been cool. I mean, he's a Chimera. He could have also been experimented on. I thought that was going to be the twist. It didn't. They eventually beat him in a really cool way, with Todoroki freezing him from the inside out, pretty much. And man, it's so cool. So much action, and it's so well fought. But, of course, the main fight is with 9. And even before Midoriya and Bakugo go, everyone else is just throwing what they have at him, trying to wear him out, trying to get him to become exhausted. And it looks like it's working. And they're putting up such a good fight. And it's so cool. Everyone is. I can't express how happy I am to see the rest of Class 1A really going out there. Because usually in movies like this, it's the main character doing most of everything, and maybe the others will do something. No, everyone was going out hard. They were plus ultra all the time. Oh man, exciting. Anyways, let's move on. So of course they keep fighting. Of course the main villain has stages. They exhaust him, but it turns out he still has more. They keep fighting. It looks like everything's going bad, and just at the last moment, something I didn't even think about is Midoriya shares a little bit of one for all with Bakugo, and holy shit, it is awesome. It is so cool. I never thought of Bakugo also having one for all, but man, is this sequence cool. The entire fight scene doesn't even have any sound. It's just music. And this climax is just bright lights. This is where I was really glad I was right up front. And it's just beautiful music, beautiful animation, and they're just going at it. And then of course they actually beat him. But man, looks like a disaster. It is flashy. There's these big things, just explosions and weather and lightning and fire and it's really something you have to see. Like, I'm so excited just thinking about it. I already watched it. You gotta go see it if you get the chance. I don't know how long it is in theaters for. Man, it was exciting. I was getting so excited just watching it. I teared up a little bit. I was like, yes! But yeah, that's a very, very quick, very rough run through of the things I really found and enjoyed in this movie. There was other little things I could talk about, like they put some emphasis on this hero Hawk, and he's kind of around doing things, but he doesn't really do anything. I don't really know what the point was. I think it was just to have some kind of in between, keep the story making sense, but whatever. But yeah, the only other thing I have to say about this is the animation besides the fights, because the fights are awesome. Everything else is alright. The animation isn't like this amazing, beautiful masterpiece. It works for the show and it looks good, but you know, compared to other movies I've saw reviewed in the past, it's alright. There was one dog that it was a dog, but then the face, it was just dots. It was a dot for eyes, nose, and mouth. That was I don't know if that was intentional or not, but maybe it was the dog's quirk to look like a weirdo. And then the other thing is the music didn't really catch my attention either. The climax, the music was beautiful and it fit the scene, but the rest of that I didn't even notice it or didn't pay any attention. But yeah, that is My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. Have you seen it? Are you as excited about it as I am? How I was? I knew it would be cool. My Hero Academia, by far, in my opinion, has the best fight scenes, and they get the most exciting, and that's when they do step up their animation to really make you feel it. Man. But yeah, let me know what you think. Did you like what I said? Like the video? If you like My Hero Academia, you want to hear me talk about it more, because I talk about the anime quite a bit too, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see all that. But until then, thank you for watching. I am DAC. Bye.